Barack Obama and John McCain are participating in a nearly 50-year-old ritual, the televised presidential debate. I'm CQ Politics editor Bob Benenson, and here are CQ Politics selected highlights of past presidential debates.
The candidates need no introduction. The Republican candidate, Vice President Richard M. Nixon, and the Democratic candidate, Senator John F. Kennedy.
It was not until the 1960 campaign that candidates agreed to debate on network TV. That timing favored Democratic nominee John Kennedy over Republican Vice President Richard Nixon. To prepare for the first debate, the young Massachusetts senator scaled back some of his campaign activities. So the already handsome candidate looked hale and rested. Nixon, though just 4 years older than Kennedy, looked worn and old by comparison. Health issues and a rigorous campaign schedule before the debate did not help Nixon. Here, Nixon takes a pass in responding to a statement made by Kennedy.
I think Mr. Nixon is an effective leader of his party. I hope he would grant me the same. The question before us is, which point of view and which party do we want to lead the United States?
Mr. Nixon, would you like to comment on that statement?
I have no comment.
Nixon had a strong command of policy issues, and polls of those who had only listened to the debate gave Nixon a slight edge. But most who watched on TV said Kennedy had won. It was the first sign that visuals really mattered. The next debates, 1976. Republican President Gerald Ford against former Georgia Governor Jimmy Carter. Both candidates had something to prove. Carter was a relative unknown, and Ford hoped to persuade voters that he would be a steadier hand as president, despite the taint that the Watergate scandal had left on his party. Their series of debates got off to a really bad start in Philadelphia on September 23, 1976, when technical difficulties suspended the debate.
The pool of broadcasters from Philadelphia have temporarily lost the audio. It is not a conspiracy against Governor Carter or President Ford, and they will fix it as soon as possible.
For 27 long, awkward minutes, Ford and Carter stood silently at their podiums. Ford might have wished the whole proceedings had been postponed because he committed a memorable gaffe during that debate. What he wanted to say was that the United States would not tolerate domination of Eastern Europe by the Soviet Union, but it came out this way.
There is no Soviet domination of Eastern Europe, and there never will be under a Ford administration.
I'm sorry, could I just follow? Did I understand you to say, sir, that the Russians are not using Eastern Europe as their own sphere of influence?
The statement conflicted with reality, as the Soviet Union had indeed implanted client communist governments in the Eastern European nations. Many viewers wondered how the president could be so confused. Still, Ford ended up losing the race to Carter by just 2 points. October 13, 1988. Vice President George Bush against Massachusetts Governor Michael Dukakis. Dukakis damaged himself in a way few candidates ever have in a debate. The Bush camp had accused Dukakis of being soft on crime, and at the very start, Dukakis was confronted by CNN anchorman Bernard Shaw.
Governor, if Kitty Dukakis were raped and murdered, would you favor an irrevocable death penalty for the killer?
No, I don't, Bernard, and I think you know that I've opposed the death penalty during all of my life. I don't see any evidence that it's a deterrent, and I think
Dukakis' emotionless response gave the Bush campaign ammunition. They claimed he was a bloodless technocrat. Bush won by a very comfortable margin. 2000. Again, the debates make a difference. Many expected that Democratic nominee Al Gore, with his command of national and international issues, would have a big advantage over Texas Governor George W. Bush. But inconsistent and uneven performances over the three debates hurt Gore in the polls. The capper may have been this overly aggressive moment at their final debate.
That I can get something positive done on behalf of the people. That's what the question in this campaign is about. It's not only what's your philosophy and what's your position on issues, but can you get things done? And I believe I can.
Which brings us to 2008. Barack Obama and John McCain had plenty of televised debate time during the primaries, but neither was viewed as a champion, and so neither candidate has the blessing or curse of high expectations.